I looked up to see Sun holding a golden gourd bottle. He yanked the top off and poured a golden liquid down May's throat, but she pulled away from him and retched as she grabbed at her windpipe. Even as she started to scream, I could feel it was over. Just the tiny amount Sun had gotten into her mouth was already causing her to shrink. Sun joined Ren and I on the battlefield as Lin Yu pushed herself to her feet using her blade, her body broken and wounded. Her right arm in particular was hanging limp and bleeding badly. We all watched as May continued to shrink, but I was surprised when she continued shrinking past her original size. And when she was about the size of a child's doll, her whole body began to glow. Just then she burst with light, and from the brightness came Yang Wen, now not much larger than a regular man, Towdy, and everyone was surprised to meet Mei Ming Song, now in a human form. Her body was old and fragile, and she seemed to be struggling just to breathe. "You think this is over?" I heard Lai say, his bleeding corpse still laying in the dirt not far away. "We're not done yet. You false gods look down on my family. We'll never stop hunting you." "Yes, we will," Lin Yu said. "I'm done playing as a pawn for your sick ambitions. It's time for you to accept your death and give up on these dreams of an immortality you'll never deserve." May turned and opened her mouth to start speaking, but all that came from her throat was sand. We all watched in horror as May slowly disintegrated, turning to dust before our very eyes. "Our immortality is true. It will never end. Don't you see? Even now, as a bleeding head, I persist," Lai insisted. I was surprised when Yang Wen was the first to reply, saying, "Yeah, about that," and waving a hand. Bid by its master, a small, thin book flew from Lai's robes and into his hand. Yang Wen opened up the book and flipped to the page where there were many scratched-out names, written in writing so tiny I could barely see it. Yang Wen snapped his fingers and a feathered quill appeared, which he then used to write in several names. After rewriting their names into the Book of Souls, Yang Wen conjured a stamp and pressed it to Lai and Mei Ming Song's names. Lai went quiet, and Mei collapsed into a pile of sand, never to utter another word in the realm of the living. All that remained in the pile was a burning black soul with a hint of deep blue in the center. Towdy stepped up and crunched on her soul with sheer delight before doing the same to her husband's dark gray spirit. "Well, now that that's settled, it's about time to decide what to do about you," Yang Wen said, looking to Lin Yu. "But what about Towdy?" I asked, noticing he seemed docile since being returned to his original form. "He'll be returning to the underworld with me. He's really a harmless creature, but that stomach of his is nearly bottomless. I swear, I'd bet the only reason he came out in the first place was his gluttonous hunger for souls," he explained. "I still don't even understand why there's a creature like him kept in the underworld in the first place," Ren remarked, seeming shaken by the events of the past few days. "Diu is called a prison, but it's honestly closer to a rehabilitation center of sorts," Yang Wen explained. "If a soul serves its punishment in the afterlife, we let them move on into heaven. But if they refuse to repent, we serve the truly evil souls to old Towdy to keep them from becoming demons in the life beyond." "Wait, so he's like a garbage bin, but for evil?" Ren asked, making Towdy scale at her. "That's crude, but not inaccurate," Yang Wen agreed. Towdy stomped a hoof and whinnied, but no one really seemed to pay much attention now that he wasn't a threat.